And we're live to review Dawn of the Gods and to say that I'm excited because it means that the next 2 episodes, I'm really looking forward to what Jeff thinks of the next 2. But we have this one.
We got through this one and he didn't die.
Yes, that's it, basically, because this one was a little bit N.
A little bit?
And
You're going with a little
see,
bit
when you say
N.
that kind of thing, I feel like defending N types, you know, from something just being boring and bizarre as being an N thing. I mean,
We'll enter into that.
When I first saw this, I loved it. I loved the mystery aspect in the first 2
They're not
thirds.
bored with it. They consider that the freak show to be interesting.
but like the first half didn't even have
Yeah.
a freak show. It was just
That's the best half.
And then it's a black hole. But wait, it's not. It's some other thing.
That's what's great about it.
And it was horribly boring for the most part.
Well, that's the thing. That's the sad thing is the boring parts were better than the weird parts.
For me, the weird parts were the best parts.
Come on.
The only part where I actually paid attention was the 1.3 seconds where the thingy turned off and then Avon and Scrubdub both shot 2 people. I was like, oh hey, they shot some people, and then it just kept being weird and boring.
I don't know how you can't laugh out loud at the Wizard of Oz reveal. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Like, I don't really think that stimulates any intuitive things. It's just.
And she randomly lied about having not seen him. You probably weren't paying attention, but they asked what he looked like, and she said she never saw him. For no reason, she just randomly lied about that. She should have been like, he was like this weird munchkin version of Wizard of Oz, except he had a really big head.
Yeah, her brain should have boiled if she lied. Anyway, thanks a lot, Ben. Now it feels really hot in here. It's all because you started talking about it.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I like how his screenshot that he had up there for like the first 2 minutes of video is guy who's in the next episode.
Yeah, Javik.
It's like, no, please don't leave us. The next one's better, we promise.
Leaning towards ESFP with this guy, Javik, rather than ESTP.
I don't know how you can type this guy.
He's a scrub. I'm leaning towards the West.
Well, you've not seen the way he acts, the things he does, Javik.
You're right, I haven't. So
he is amazing.
James Follett, or Follett, however you pronounce his name.
Follett, I reckon, with double L's.
What episode? What episode did he write previously?
This is his first one.
Is it? Okay, I was thinking I'd seen the name already.
However,
was a difference.
however, he was for writing novels, and he was quite a famous, quite a successful writer. Let me just see how successful.
Well, Ben, why don't you get the summary over with?
Okay. Yeah, he was a radio script writer and novelist. He wrote the script in a week. Right, so here we go. The Liberator is drawn off course towards what seems to be a black hole. What seems to be a black hole, which Orac has not told the crew about, as he wishes to study its unusual features. The black hole without any significant ill effects, winding up in an underground chamber. They don't necessarily know it's underground, they just know they're in a cavern. Callie, meanwhile, is contacted telepathically by the Tharn, whom she recognizes as an R&R mythological figure. Leaving the ship, they meet a man calling himself the Caliph, who explains that they are on the artificial planet. Yes, Jeff?
Can you repeat that name, please?
The Caliph.
Caliph?
Or Caliph.
Because I didn't understand it a single time they said it in the show, and I didn't understand when you said it just now.
I didn't understand that they said a name.
Well, Caliph is sort of like the leader of a certain place that's like, remember then they had the caliphate, and then you have that certain individual rulers. I suppose it's like a governor. It's someone who's beneath an emperor, I suppose. Leaving the ship, they meet a man calling himself the Caliph, who explains that they're on the artificial planet Crandor, and that the Tharn wishes to extract the metal Herculaneum from the Liberator's hull, as he has done with other spaceships, to further his plans to conquer the universe using a gravity generator. Put to work solving dynamic flux equations, Dana and Villa are locked in a cell, and Callie is brought to the Tharn. The Liberator's defense mechanisms kill the crew sent to break it up. Callie, by a ruse, gets the Tharn to switch off the energy isolators that prevent weapons from working, allowing Avon and Talent to kill their guards and a fellow captive named Groff to throw the gravity generator into reverse, causing Crandor to disintegrate. The crew escape to the Liberator and flee, coming back through the black hole into the normal universe. Anything to add? Or I'll just go. I didn't take that many grabs. I took 78 rather than 200.
So the logo thing for the Blake 7 channel on YouTube, has 6 people in it, and only 3 of them were in this episode. I just took note of that. So.
The logo on the channel, okay.
Yeah.
Was it Avon, Villa, and Callie?
Yeah.
Well,
How did you guess? The actual people.
Everybody else is dead. They're all dead.
Well, you get changes in Blake 7. Right.
I don't
Right.
changes. There's been generous
Hey.
episodes, and that we got.
Hey, Jeff, there's a change coming up that you will approve of, and that you have already approved of her in the past.
What, Villa dying?
He said her.
No. There's someone, her that Jeff approves of. Anyhow.
Back, he's trying to say you approve that.
Oh, that's from the next episode. That's Jarvik. Look what Jarvik's done to Serverland. He's just picked her up. Look at that.
Yeah, you can tell even Ben is skipping ahead to the next episode. What rating do you give this episode, Ben?
I like it. It's just that it's before the next 2, which you'll really like.
You didn't answer my question.
I remember you said I'll give this about an 8. Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you?
No, Ben, add up those points for me real quick. Where's the 8 come from?
Yeah, I think he counts down. But okay, but tell me what was good about this episode. I'll leave it that way.
What was good? All the great intrigue in like the first 2/3 of it about what's going on, the mystery element, the details about the Tharn.
Oh yeah, room.
That was good. I like that.
What details were about Tharn besides like Callie's little story that she told like 35 minutes into it?
Well, I like that. I like that little story.
Okay. But you said all the details. Was that all you were talking about, or?
Well, it's a nice little story. It's details.
I'm giving you a chance here, Ben. I really am. I'm trying to get with you about what it is that you like about this.
It's the mystery element of, in the first half, what is going on? What is this thing that's drawing them in? And
all right.
I would agree that it doesn't have a tremendous amount of rewatch value apart from the dialogue. And
It doesn't have first watch value.
Well, for me, the first watch value is to do with the intrigue and the ideas.
I was unintrigued.
Well, you're not an abstract type, are you?
That's the thing.
I think Rachel would like this.
I said when Orac showed up in the first place that I didn't like it because it was like convenient plot device. You know, use Orac power to whatever you want it to be, kind of like Q in Star Trek. But at least in some previous things where Orac had magic powers, there were certain elements they were able to make interesting about it. And this, it was just like Orac's just being a punk.
Yeah, he didn't save the day.
More and more like senile sounding. I'm like, I would have shot the thing. I mean, just taken the nearest weapon and shot the thing.
Well, that would have been unwise.
You're right, but I would have done it because that thing needed to die.
That's the thing that prevails in Orienty shows is they think that since they create a position where the smart thing to do is to go along with the plot line, they think that that's what's actually going to happen. But realistically, people don't take the smart choice. Realistically, somebody at least is going to just shoot Orac.
But yeah, at least
what
Villa,
I did do
they've established Villa as being a swirly weirdo anyway. Like, he would have freaked out and gotten himself killed somehow a long time ago.
Because if you think about it, when they first realized that there was not a course, someone screwed up with the course. When they first realized that, they just shot Orac and turned around, they would have been fine.
Yeah, if you think about it, in the first season, there was an episode where Callie's brain was getting invaded by some weird thing. And
that was the start of the second season.
What?
That was the start of the second season. It was called Shadow, I think.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes, there was a little bit of that in Web. I think they did. I didn't actually watch that episode.
No, it was like real early on. It was like right after
Callie. Yeah, the Web.
Time. And Avon was like, you were saying Avon had a thing for her or whatever, but then he was like suspicious of her.
You know when they dragged him down to that planet and had all the creepy stuff on it?
So I'm like,
yeah, that was the Web.
In that episode, they were like, oh, isolate Callie, restrain her because she's going crazy and something is controlling her. And, you know, in this episode, it's like, oh, well, Orac's just steering us to her death.
Well, no, that's not the case. It's not that Orac because remember, it's the gravity generator that's doing. It's just that Orac is complicit.
Well, yeah, but up to that point, like you said, with the intrigue, up to that point, the knowledge of the crew is Orac is taking us into a black hole because he feels like studying it. That's what was presented at the beginning.
No, not quite, because they said an outside force is acting on them.
And they also said that Orac
they
changed the computer navigation to pull them into this black hole.
Yeah, it was pretty heavily implied that Orac was like, I like this thing, I want to study it, so I pulled the center.
It wasn't even implied. They straight up said, oh, so you just changed the navigation coordinates and brought us over here? And he was like, yeah.
He's like, you know, it was necessary for me to take control of the ship. Because
I think they were already there, though. I think they were already in that cavern.
Yeah, because he had already done it.
But the ship was brought there by the gravity generator.
He had already done it. And then they were like, you changed the navigation stuff. And he was like, yeah, totally, bro. Did a long time ago because you scrubs don't like my interesting stuff, which is killing ourselves.
But I think Orac is complicit, but it was the gravity generator operated by the Lord Thorn's people just drawing the ship.
Ben, what does complicit mean?
Well, he sort of went along with it because he wanted to know what was there.
Right. Are you saying that Orac did not have the power to stop it?
Well, that's a hypothetical thing. We don't really know.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is
all
they presented was Orac was like, yo, don't hassle me. I want to check this thing out because I like it. And you people are boring.
But the thing
you want to study stuff like me.
Yeah, but does the Lord Thorn use Tariel cells? If he doesn't use Tariel cells...
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. He could have just... Because he recognized what was happening. So he could just turn the ship around. He's already
well, but you could turn the ship around, but then it will fight backwards.
This time, it was to make sure that they couldn't do anything about it. He wasn't just happen. He took control of the ship so they couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, definitely.
Was this the first episode?
I think what happened was that
Blake, or did they?
as it was going in, I think as the ship was going into the black hole anyway, Orac was probably thinking, hey, I don't need to control anything anyway because what's happening is what I want to happen. And then once they were in the cavern, he said, oh, right, they could leave, I'll make them. But he didn't have to do anything before because he knew they were going to be dragged somewhere anyway. He just went along with it because he wanted to find out what was going on.
In the first 2 episodes, I know they talked about Blake. Ben, do you remember if in Volcano they mentioned Blake?
Yes.
Yeah, they said he'd been there before.
Okay, so this was actually the first episode in which nobody even says Blake's name once.
Yep.
I think that's right.
It was like, oh, the Liberator still didn't say anything about Blake.
Yeah.
Jeff likes these bits where it says suspenseful instrumental music, and there was a new one in this one, ominous instrumental music. So I took grabs of those for Jeff because he likes those little captions.
Yeah, I sent the one with Villa to my brother, and he appreciated it.
So Blake 7 has a use.
I'm pacing myself. You know, I'll show him the other one, but you know, I can't.
There's a new one, ominous instrumental music.
Yeah, that's a good one to keep because it's the double whammy of that plus he'll have something to say about the hairdo. So say yes, that haircut is ominous.
And how about this one? Tense instrumental music. Right.
Yeah, I think there was some innuendo in this episode.
Right, okay, I'll do the Orac voice. Considering the proximity of that fascinating black hole, the ship was and is behaving normally.
You're
Absence of
a lot
X-ray.
less annoying than Orac.
Pardon? I'm a lot less or more?
Less.
Okay, I'll continue. The absence of X-rays highlighted a gap in my knowledge of the universe, which cannot be tolerated.
Yeah, I think I think I agree with you, Ben. It would have been unwise to shoot Orac. I just would have shot myself. I would have done the thing. I would have lied to the thingy, so it would have spoiled my brains.
I think you both like this. Sorry.
Yeah, there were like 2 good lines in the whole episode, and that was one of them. I'm in hell, and it's full of Avon. That was actually a good line.
Like I said, even the poorer episodes of Blake 7 have good things about them.
Yeah, like I said, there were 2. That and the thing about, you know, basically the ways they avoided saying what Orac was.
Yeah.
Like
that was amusing.
Those were about the only.
And I think Morgan was amused by this bit when Avon talks about switch the light, and then he goes, delay regretted.
Yeah. Is it the first time that Zen has expressed regret about something?
Yeah.
You know, it's good to have regrets. Now we know.
And that was the point at which Orac took
I think
over.
you're right about the NF thing. I think this writer didn't quite grasp. Computers don't regret things.
Yeah, but it was funny though. Delay regretted.
Yeah.
Let me go. By me.
More funny than the majority of the rest of the episode.
It has been necessary for me to assume control of the ship.
Should have been like the ghost of Dan appeared out of nowhere and went, Orac smashed. So many ways they could have made it more entertaining, but they chose none of them.
Alright then.
Villa had a random gold spacesuit.
Even if you think about this from broad perspective possible, just overview.
Right.
They're dragged there by a god who turns out to be a midget with a giant expanded head.
Yes.
That is how this happens. And when his
Yes.
plan explodes, he escapes.
What was the other dude surprised about the dwarf when like his
I
leader
know.
was like
He was
like,
a gold
oh,
dwarf.
there's another one.
Yeah.
or did them saying that create the image of him?
Yeah, I
And
know.
before he looked like a tall giraffe.
Well, I'll just get through these through the maximum guide. The maximum guide. Sorry, the maximum power.
Gold playing while Bill was walking in the gold spaceship.
It had all of this intrigue. Get there. What is these things? What are these lights? What is this weird stuff going on?
Yeah, but
now for N types, they look.
I give more credit to N types.
Oh, I'm an N type.
You are, but you're one specific person.
I feel like having that on the screen right now for me.
Because obviously, what?
I feel like having that on the screen. You said that about N type. Some instrumental music down.
Yeah. Because I'm not saying you're the only one. I'm sure there are others that would say the same thing, but there's also plenty of N types who would also say this is boring and doesn't really have any intrigue.
NTPs then. Oh no, sorry, NPs. NPs.
Like I said, I would be curious to get maybe. See, my older brother, when I asked him before about doing a video with me on typology stuff, he said no. But maybe
show him this episode.
Maybe it'd be in a Blake 7 video because like I said, I think he watched more of it than I did when we were kids. So he may actually remember some of it. I don't know. So
you could have suggested this 3 months ago, Jeff.
Yeah, I could have jumped off a cliff too.
Yeah, but this was a good thing. The cliff thing would not be a good thing.
Having
your brother in videos would be a great thing.
I'm giving credit to you for the way when you said NTPs or ITPs, whatever, that I was like, oh, it triggered the memory. I'm like, wait, Scott may have seen this. So yeah, I don't talk to him like on a daily basis or anything, but I can send him a message and be like, yo, we're doing Blake 7.
That would be super cool.
Maybe not. He might just say Herm.
Yeah, well, if he attended, if he was in a video, that would be super cool.
Well, yeah. Morgan sent him a long message about something or other. D&D stuff maybe, and like some multi-paragraph message or whatever, and his response was K. So he's not always the most talkative.
Oh, someone's been watching.
It's an odd thing for a sword to do.
Aha! Here we go. Now we got the small person.
Is that the cousin of the dude in the aquarium from the previous season?
Well, this is a lot better than the one in that aquarium. That was ridiculous. This is quite a good makeup job.
You see this, and the first thing you think is that's a good makeup job?
Well, I mean, it probably is an old fella. Might have made the ears a bit bigger. Well, what were you thinking, Morgan?
I was just laughing. I was just laughing.
I just laughed. Yeah.
Well, that's another bonus point, then, isn't it?
He put some serious bucks down. Unbelievable.
Serious butts? What are you
But don't
talking
shut
about?
me off. Don't shut me off. Because I don't call late night. I listen to y'all and laugh. That's good Pepsi.
All right. Ooh,
You managed to inject some actual comedy into this episode.
I never knew that Sharpie in Las Vegas would make an appearance in a Blake 7 video, but that's what happened. The Caliph. The Tharn.
Here we go.
See, I had no
Now the
idea
max.
until seeing that credit right there. I had no idea that it was supposed to be the Tharn, because every time they said it like Thon, like Thon.
It first sounded like thong.
I never heard that, but I heard
Now, Jeff, you may have been one of the writers of this book. I don't know. But
so what is it then? Like, with it's like a thing in Britain, like you add R's to the words that don't have R's and you take them out of the words that do. Is that the general thing? All right.
It's crazy. I'm not in charge of the dictionary.
You're not. I can't believe that.
If it were me, I would have made it more phonetic. Like, in fact, Webster wanted to make it phonetic, didn't
Speaking
he?
of phonetics,
Okay,
you
so
said phonetics.
so who is Gareth Milne?
I don't know.
That's
I
obviously a
mean, I
joke
got no idea.
that you crossed it out, so you don't know who that is.
No.
So it's a joke that goes over even your head.
Maybe
Cuts to the crew playing a bloody board game. The board game was one of the more interesting things in the episode.
Yeah, it was. I would have much rather that they just played that game the entire episode.
45 minutes of just playing the game. Space Monopoly or whatever it was.
It sounded interesting.
Yeah, random insult. It was like Avon, like right off the bat, is just like loser.
Yeah.
See, even they say, yeah, you're like, Ben crossed out where it says secretly takes the Liberator and put is complicit with taking by the
He
Thorns.
literally rewrote the script to fit his reality.
Well, that's not the script, but
That's what he's doing.
but still, it proves that we were not the only ones to see the story that way.
Right, here we go. How about these? You might like these.
This
One,
episode
these
was
gags here.
broadcast before they had finished making it. See, I disagree with them about irate Orac, though. I think that was what prompted me to want to kill it. The Liberator is almost destroyed by Mirrorlon. I don't know what that is.
Well, you know the effect of like the when you're going through the gravity thing of the warped space. All they did was you get the camera and you get it to look at this Mirrorlon. It's like a mirror. It's like a flexible mirror, and so you record the image on the mirror, and then you bend the mirror and you pull the mirror at the back to make it look like space is distorting. Reflection that is being distorted because you distort the mirror.
Is that what they did on Doctor Who in the Invasion of Time when they had the creatures that were looked like they were made out of aluminum foil or mirrors?
No, it's okay. I'll show you on camera. Right.
No, you don't have to. I was just asking about whether that was.
If this was a flexible, if this were made out of flexible material, and we were to call it Mirrorlon, and you were to do an image, if you were to do an image of me, and then you were to bend it at the back, then the image would appear distorted because you're distorting the mirror, and it would go, oh, the gravity is affecting Ben. But no, you're just moving the Mirrorlon, the flexible mirror, because you're shooting the mirror rather than the actual scene.
The gravity is affecting Ben.
But no, what it's happening is someone's pulling the back of the mirror, which is bending it, which is affecting the reflection of Ben rather than Ben.
Ben.
But
They projected an image of the model of the Liberator, projected the image onto the little flexible thing, and then we went wibbly wobbly, and then did the thingy.
If ands
Simple.
and buts were candy and nuts.
You didn't need to project it. You just get a mirror and you shoot it. You just because the mirror is reflecting what's going on.
Just shoot the mirror.
Yeah, you shoot the mirror.
Okay, gotcha.
I think Elvis did that. Maybe that was a television.
And it's just a flexible mirror, hence they call it Mirrorlon. And then it's sort of like you pull the back of the mirror, so it has that then pinch effect on it. You just find if you get any like flexible mirror, and then as you distort the mirror, you distort the image. So it's an effect that people can make themselves very easily.
Yeah.
I don't think you liked your mirror discussion.
How's those Jolly Rancher gummies? Oh, you're eating them all.
The lemon ones aren't. That's the thing.
Got any more left?
The lemon ones?
Right
I was
then.
trying to say, even though the lemon ones, I'm not really super into the artificial lemon flavor. It still tastes like good for an artificial lemon flavor.
I don't know what Jackanory is.
Jackanory. Basically, it was just somebody reading a book on a television program, and the audience listener. That was it.
Sounds great.
Jack and Ori. It wasn't my favorite TV program.
What is your favorite TV program?
Of that time, maybe Transformers.
You should be reviewing trailers.
Ulysses 31.
Again,
I like.
Fun one to review too, because you can pause it and point out the animation mistakes. There's randomly duplicated characters.
Well, I've got the version. I've got a lot of versions of the '86 film. Well, I've got like the full version where it's like parts of it hadn't been finished because it's like the whole film, the whole of the cell, and so there was some areas. Yeah, the extreme uncut, like where you get the whole frame, because I've got different versions.
So have you got the Unicron with before the electronic effects added to his voice?
No, it's the right at the edges of the screen. They hadn't like finished the painting of it, of the.
Well, they have that on YouTube or at least online somewhere. I listened to it before. It's actually like, honestly, I think they should have kept it that way because Unicron sounds, or Orson Welles sounds even creepier without the electronic effects. They felt like they had to use them to boost his voice because they said his voice was too weak.
Oh.
But to me, it's like even scarier that way.
It's not for that. It was the version of Transformers called The Movie Reconstructed, where it shows you the whole frame and you see parts of the edges of it that haven't been coloured in by the animators.
Yeah.
See more of the image than it was.
He was talking about something he found more interesting.
No.
I was saying a thing, and you just repeated the same.
No, it wasn't to do anything. I mean, the voice of Orson Welles was the same in all of the versions I have.
I got that. Got that. I figured that when you said no.
Nah. Right, there we go, Jeff. Something for you to read.
So what?
Something for you to read.
Oh boy, reading. That's where I'm a dragon. Okay, scroll up. That's what I said. Like, did his description conjure up the image of the Tharn? It's terrible. Prefiguring. If so, it's rubbish. See, that's what he should use for thumbs up the episode. But we wrote this entry with our graphite writing sticks. Yeah, that was the other good line. There were two good lines, and that was the second one when he talks about a graphite writing stick.
Yeah, something about, what is this? A finger. It's better for pushing buttons than for...
Yeah, good point.
I mean,
The sight of Terrence's stupid smug head.
well, I think Dawn's in Jeff's friends list on Facebook.
Which Dawn are we talking about now?
Oh, we won't go into that. Right.
Oh, you want to leave me in suspense?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right, then the next grab is... We go here. I never saw that bit about smoke coming from Orac. I should have read this entry before watching it. The face on the scrap collecting vehicle is Bobbins. I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not sure what it means.
I think they may be taking the piss. Romulus Cardassia. PP Wee. I don't know what that is. What's PP Wee? Is it a game?
don't know. Star orbit burial. Neuronic whip. I was gonna say there was some like innuendos in this one. I think there was some like S&M fantasies going on in the writer's head or something.
The next episode. Harvest of Kairos, starring Jarvik.
Callie and the Tharn go into private.
They were already in private.
I mean, more so.
We are now on the cusp of the Harvest of Kairos. And then the one after that.
No.
The one after that, which Jeff will probably also like. And he'll like at least one thing in the one after the next one. 100%. There will be one thing he will absolutely, at least one thing.
After that, huh? Hello, what about that one?
Yep, there's one thing in the one after the next one that Jeff will love 100%.
Man,
Right.
I'm
building.
That's a pretty hardcore endorsement right there.
That is a hardcore endorsement because it has a feature
Because
that I know you will like.
Because you know full well that anything that you say that I will like 100%, that in of itself deteriorates the odds that I will like it. So.
Okay, you'll like it 200% and then you just like it 100%. Right.
That's using your noggin.
Right. Is there anything else to say?
Well, I waffled back and forth a bit on my rating because at one point I started to fall asleep, and then at a second point I started to fall asleep, but then it got weird. So I was gonna originally you know how you say like start from 10 and go down. I kind of don't do that. I just sort of like my first impression, like the first point in the episode where I'm like, okay, this is about where it is now, and it could go up or down. And at the first point, it started at a 4 because it was just boring, and then it got even more boring and went down to 3, and then it got weird. So I give it a 2 out of 10, and so that's not the worst episode because I believe I gave. Was it Shadow?
Yeah.
1? Okay, I gave that one a 1. So this one is not as bad as that, but it was real close. If it had gone on any longer, it probably would have gotten there. But somehow it seemed to actually mercifully end sooner than Shadow did, I guess. And, like I said, 2 good lines, 1 actual interesting element, and a nice... laugh out loud moment when they showed the Master of the Universe, who was really the Wizard of Oz. I'm surprised that the book did not mention anything about Wizard of Oz. It seemed a pretty obvious reference to me. When you've got the booming voice behind the curtain that's revealed to be a midget. So Wizard of Oz was really a munchkin. That's what this episode is trying to tell us.
Right. What about you, Morgan? Any final thoughts?
Trash.
Ooh. So that couple of sensing types votes
in a 30-gallon container.
Look, so this is one of these episodes which is the real like SN divide. So it'll be interesting to see what Rachel thinks.
No, it's called boring. Boring,
Yes,
boring.
But that's what concrete types say about abstract things.
No.
They say it's
I
boring.
don't enjoy abstract
You're
things.
leaning on that quite a bit, Ben.
But they have to not be boring.
Right then, so
You can't just do that where you're like, all censors think all abstract things are boring and they can't understand
I can prove you wrong on that because, as I said, Robotech, which everything I've seen so far makes me think, is a better show than myself. It has a couple of really weird episodes that if I was going to have an NS divide, and they're still good. So they're weird, but they're done in a way that keeps them interesting, not just boring or just bizarre and like cringeworthy. They're actually See, that's the thing. The one thing that I think Blake 7 has over Robotech, other than, just having live action people, but is that the acting is probably a little better in Blake 7. Now, some of the Robotech voice actors are pretty good, but there's a few weak links in that cast. But the story is fun.
Because I've been sort of listening to these commentaries that he did, but yeah, in Shadow, that was the one where Morgan was saying a lot, oh, this is trash, what's going on with this trash? Right, and so, yeah, I remember that commentary.
Yeah, so that's what keeps that one worse than this one, is that it was trash from, the beginning, whereas this one
I wasn't
was
paying
just
attention
boring
enough
for the
to
first
this one.
half, and then it became trash in the second half. So that one still wins for trashiest episode by being horrible from the start. I just thought at the time when the start of that one happened, I was thinking benefit of the doubt and saying it was somebody's weird dream and that they would wake up from it. Because that's kind of a TV trope, somebody wakes up from a weird dream thing. So I was waiting for the waking up from the bizarre dream, and instead it was the actual episode. Whereas this one, I didn't have that feeling about it. Waiting for something interesting to happen.
Oh, lots of things. Lots of interesting things happened. Right.
And they were brief.
So, it's goodbye for me.
And sayonara.